are they suffering due to racism or the lack of moral character?
It is not either or.
So they're
both.
not suffering due to racism, and they're not suffering due to the lack of moral character.
It is both and some more. Does racism affect black employment? Yes. Are there other things that affect black employment? Certainly there are. Racism is one of them. Perhaps some character issues, depending on who the person is.
Let me go back to this. First, I want to say that racism doesn't exist. It's an illusion. What do you say about that?
I say that's silly.
You say that's silly?
Yes, sir.
Why do you say it's silly?
Well, I've been called names enough to know that racism exists.
But that could be because they just hated you. They made a judgment and they hate you, not because of your color, they just hate you. Do you ever have fights with family members?
No, I refuse.
But you know family members do fight, right?
Sure.
And is that racist?
Not necessarily, no.
And so why is it that when blacks and whites fight is racism?
You're oversimplifying reality.
Does the Bible say that we have a race issue or a spiritual issue?
I think the biggest problem with us when it comes to race relations is not skin, but sin. And so that issue of our problem starts on the inside. It's a person's heart. And
so the Bible says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spirits and principalities and wickedness in high places.
Yes.
Meaning that it has nothing to do with skin color. It has nothing to do with male and female. It's good versus evil. Am I right about that?
I believe you're right about that.
So then why should children of God go along with the children of the lie and call it racism when it's really not racism, something that doesn't exist, never has existed, and because it doesn't exist, we can't solve it. Why not call it what it is? So
you actually think racism has never existed?
Right.
Do you think you could trace your family history back to a thing called slavery, or is that my imagination?
I can. A matter of fact,
so you don't think slavery was racism?
No.
You weren't, your parents...
Because there were black people who owned slaves as well.
That's not my point. The point is, why were you a slave?
Because they just happened to own me. But let me tell you
But it had nothing to do with your race.
Well,
is there a reason why the preponderance of slaves in America, they were just accidentally black?
But you know, white people have been enslaved as well by other whites, right? And then blacks have been enslaved by other blacks. In parts of Africa,
That's right.
they're still is that racism?
Probably not, no.
Yes or no?
I said probably not.
I know, but I need a yes or no. You're a pastor, so I want to try to help people.
Yeah, I understand that.
Is that racism when blacks enslave other blacks? Yeah.
It can be racism, sir.
When blacks enslave other blacks?
It can be, yes.
How is that?
I'm black, you're black, I take you to the white slaveholder because you're black. That's racism on my part and his.
But we're not talking about white on black slavery. In Africa, black on black.
Yeah.
Slavery, no white people around.
Yeah.
Is that racism?
It can be.
But is it?
You'll have to check his heart. I don't know. The reality is the preponderance, the most of white on black slavery was racism.
How do you know that?
If you read the writings, if you read the diaries, if you check the historical statements made by the folks who held the slaves, the disrespect, the disregard, making them three-fifths, making them not a person, then 3/5 of a person, that is racism. It was institutionalized, codified right there in the Constitution.
That was for the power of the vote.
Of course it was, but it's still racism, regardless of what your motive is.
Let me move on. Morality. I say that most black Americans are suffering not because of racism, but the lack of moral character. Most blacks are immoral. Do you disagree with that?
I think that's a stupid statement, sir, with all due respect.
And do you disagree?
I definitely disagree, yes.
And why do you disagree?
Well, to say that most blacks are immoral, I disagree because it compares, it by virtue of the context in which you say it, it is in comparison to whites. I think that's what you're saying.
I wasn't thinking that way, but okay.
Well, I mean, you have to have some context to it.
But you disagree with me, right?
Oh, yes.
72% of black babies are born out of wedlock today.
And what's the percentage of white babies born out of wedlock?
Is that immoral?
What percentage of white babies are born out of wedlock?
Answer my question first.
I happen to know.
But is that immoral?
It's definitely immoral.
So these blacks who are having these babies are carrying out, performing an immoral act, right?
Uh-huh.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Black on black crime out of control in most of the cities. Is that immoral?
I couldn't call that necessarily immoral.
It's not immoral? Why
It
not?
depends on what crime, who's participating in it, how many people. You know, you went from the one about the babies and you left a question unanswered.
What was that?
The majority of white babies are also
Well,
born
why
out
are
of
you
wedlock
bringing
now.
up whites when we're talking about blacks?
Well, because why are you picking on blacks?
I'm not.
Why,
I'm not picking on blacks.
I mean, it's
I
an
brought you here
American
because I'm
problem.
trying to help blacks.
See, why are we talking about racism then? Because it's an American problem,
How's
not
it-
a black
It's not
problem.
an American problem.
It is an American problem.
How's
The
that?
majority of babies in America now are born out of wedlock.
But see, we're talking about the issues of black Americans today, and how are you going to help them if you justify their bad behavior?
Oh, nobody's justifying.
By pointing out what white people are doing, because blacks are already blaming everybody else for their problems instead of themselves, so they're not getting better. And so that's why I brought you here, to make them focus on themselves and stop talking about what the white man is doing.
Okay. Black people who are focusing on yourself, stop.
But no, you are pointing out, when I ask you about immorality and all this stuff, you pointed out what the white man did.
No,
and
no,
don't know
I
why.
only did it because you are, by definition, comparing black people to whites.
I'm not.
Well, by definition.
No, I'm not comparing them at all. I'm
You were
talking
saying
about. I'm
you
talking
know,
about the way that God wants us to live as a people.